Welcome back to my channel Celebuzz. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. From Grammy stages to courtroom battles, Chris Brown's shocking new arrest shakes the music world once again. But what really lies beneath the headlines? Stay tuned to find out. Today, we're diving into a story that mixes fame, scandal, legal drama, and one of the most complex figures in modern music, Chris Brown. For over a decade, Brown's name has been synonymous with incredible talent, chart-topping hits, and controversy that seems never-ending. Now, his latest arrest in the United Kingdom on serious assault charges has reignited a firestorm of questions and concerns. Chris Brown rose to fame as a young prodigy with a voice and dance moves that captivated audiences worldwide. His success was meteoric, making him one of the most influential R&B artists of the 2000s. But his personal life has been punctuated by a series of legal troubles, public altercations, and allegations that have challenged his career and public image. This video will take you through the full journey, from his early rise in Virginia to international superstardom, the turning points that defined his public persona, and the recent developments surrounding his arrest in London. We'll explore how the allegations of violence have shaped his legacy, and how the music industry and fans are responding to these events. More than just a biography, this story highlights the complicated relationship between talent and accountability in today's celebrity culture. Can an artist's contributions to music be separated from their personal mistakes? What happens when fame shields someone from consequences? And what does Chris Brown's case tell us about the broader societal issues of domestic violence, public forgiveness, and justice? So whether you're a longtime fan, a curious observer, or someone who wants to understand how fame and controversy collide, this video is for you. We'll dig deep, providing context, expert insight, and plenty of details you might not have heard before. Get ready to learn about a star who soared to incredible heights but keeps falling into controversy. A man whose story forces us to ask hard questions about celebrity, power, and responsibility. Chris Brown's journey to fame is a classic tale of raw talent meeting opportunity at just the right time. Born Christopher Maurice Brown on May 5, 1989 in Tappahannock, Virginia, his love for music started early. He was raised in a family that valued music and church involvement. His mother was a singer, and his father was involved in local sports and music. From a young age, Brown showed a natural gift for singing and dancing, and he was often compared to some of the greats in R&B. His musical beginnings were humble but promising. Brown sang in his church choir, where his powerful, smooth voice first gained attention. By his early teens, he was already writing songs and performing locally. The turning point came when a local producer discovered him and helped him secure a contract with Jive Records. At just 16 years old, Brown was ready to enter the world stage. In 2005, he released his self-titled debut album, Chris Brown, which was an instant success. The lead single, Run It, hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making him one of the youngest male artists to reach that milestone. This blend of youthful energy, a knack for catchy hooks, and impressive dance skills drew comparisons to Usher, who was a major influence on Brown's style. His follow-up hits like Kiss Kiss and Yo, Excuse Me Miss cemented his position as an emerging R&B star. Chris Brown's appeal was not just about his music, it was also his charisma. Fans were drawn to his boyish charm, infectious smile, and stage presence. He quickly became a heartthrob for teenagers around the world, and his music videos showcased his impressive dance routines, often compared to Michael Jackson's legendary performances. Between 2005 and 2007, Brown toured extensively, earning a reputation as an electrifying performer. He won numerous awards, including the prestigious Grammy for Best R&B Album in 2012 for FAME. His influence grew rapidly, and he was seen as the next big thing in R&B, a genre that had been craving a fresh face and sound. But along with fame came pressure. Brown was thrust into a highly competitive and public industry while still a teenager. The demands of constant touring, media scrutiny, and personal challenges soon began to weigh on him. There were rumors of clashes with other artists, stress-related incidents, and early signs of a turbulent personal life. Nevertheless, during this period, Brown's artistic output was prolific. He experimented with blending R&B with hip-hop, pop, and electronic influences, showing versatility that few could match. His albums from this era showcased a mix of upbeat tracks, love ballads, and club anthems, something that appealed to a broad audience. By the end of the 2000s, Brown had firmly established himself as a household name. He had millions of fans worldwide, endorsements from major brands, and collaborations with some of the biggest names in music. However, the shine of his early success began to dim when offstage problems started to surface, setting the stage for the controversies that would soon dominate headlines. While Chris Brown's career was soaring, his personal life was becoming increasingly turbulent, marking a turning point that would define much of his public image for years to come. The most pivotal moment came in 2009, a year that drastically changed the trajectory of his life and career, forever linking him to a narrative far beyond music. In February 2009, just before the Grammy Awards, the world was rocked by news that Chris Brown had assaulted then-girlfriend Rihanna, who was herself an international superstar. The details that emerged were shocking. The altercation left Rihanna with visible injuries, and Brown's actions were condemned widely across media outlets, fan communities, and the music industry. The incident led to Brown pleading guilty to felony assault, and he was sentenced to community labor, probation, and counseling. The legal consequences were significant, but the impact on his career and reputation was arguably even more damaging. For many, this assault overshadowed his musical accomplishments, turning public opinion sharply against him. This event also opened a broader conversation about domestic violence, celebrity accountability, and the challenges survivors face when abuse happens in the spotlight. Rihanna herself bravely spoke about the incident, advocating for awareness and support for abuse victims, which sparked worldwide discussions about intimate partner violence. Despite this dark chapter, Brown attempted to rebuild his career. His 2011 album Fame won him a Grammy, signaling a tentative comeback. However, his reputation remained fragile, and he continued to face scrutiny. His behavior offstage led to multiple run-ins with the law, including allegations of assault, altercations with other artists, and accusations of abusive behavior. One notorious incident occurred in 2012 during an altercation at a New York nightclub involving Drake's entourage. French basketball star Tony Parker was injured by a thrown glass bottle during the melee, highlighting Brown's increasingly volatile public image. Then in 2014, he pleaded guilty to assaulting a fan in Washington, further cementing his struggles with violence-related accusations. Brown's legal history also includes disturbing allegations of pointing a gun at a woman in 2016, and multiple accusations of battery. Perhaps most notably, he faced a rape allegation in a Paris hotel in 2017. Although he denied the charges and was not prosecuted, the accusation added another layer of controversy to his public persona. Throughout all this, the media often portrayed Chris Brown as a bad boy figure, a talented artist whose personal demons continually led to legal trouble and public scandal. Fans were divided. Some remained fiercely loyal, praising his music and talent, while others condemned his actions and refused to support him. This constant back and forth had real consequences beyond just public opinion. Brands and promoters grew cautious about associating with him. Concerts faced protests, and some radio stations limited his airplay. His personal life became tabloid fodder, with every new allegation sparking headlines and debate about whether he deserved a second chance. The ongoing legal troubles seemed to stall the momentum he had built early on. His attempts to evolve artistically were frequently overshadowed by reports of fights, arrests, and controversies. Despite these setbacks, Brown continued to release music, trying to stay relevant and maintain his fan base. Songs like Loyal and collaborations with other artists helped keep him on the charts, even if his reputation was in tatters. Now, in 2025, Brown's latest arrest in the UK on charges of grievous bodily harm represents another dramatic chapter. According to police reports, the incident involved an alleged assault on music producer Abe Diao at a nightclub in London's exclusive Mayfair district in 2023. The allegations paint a grim picture reminiscent of his past behaviors, raising questions about patterns of violence and accountability. His arrest at the five-star Lowry Hotel in Manchester and subsequent court appearance mark a serious escalation. The charges are grave, and the timing, just before his upcoming world tour, could have far-reaching implications for his career and public image. As this case unfolds, it underscores a troubling pattern that has followed Chris Brown for over a decade. The tension between his undeniable talent and recurring allegations of violence and misconduct. The music industry now watches closely to see how this legal battle will play out, and whether Brown can finally break free from the cycle that has plagued him for so long. Beyond just one man's story, this case reflects larger issues of how society handles fame, responsibility, and justice. It challenges fans and critics alike to grapple with uncomfortable questions. How do we separate art from the artist? What role does celebrity culture play in enabling or exposing abuse, and most importantly, how do survivors find their voice in a world that often protects the powerful? Chris Brown's 2025 arrest and the severe charges of grievous bodily harm have sent shockwaves not only through the music industry, but also throughout public discourse. Given his long and turbulent history, this latest incident has reignited fierce debates among fans, critics, industry insiders, and social activists alike. The reaction to these developments reflects the complex relationship Brown has with the public, a mix of admiration, disappointment, outrage, and hope for accountability. From the outset, social media erupted with strong opinions. On platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, users expressed everything from outrage at Brown's alleged actions to calls for due process and fair trial. Hashtags supporting victims of domestic violence trended alongside discussions about celebrity accountability. Influential figures from various sectors weighed in, highlighting the importance of addressing allegations seriously regardless of a person's fame or talent. Fans, however, have been deeply divided. Brown's loyal followers rallied around him, emphasizing his music and charitable work as evidence of his good character. Many argued that the allegations should be proven in court before rushing to judgment, advocating for the principle of innocent until proven guilty. They posted tributes to his artistry and personal growth, pointing to his efforts to overcome past mistakes. Conversely, critics and survivor advocates voiced strong condemnation. For them, this latest arrest was further proof of a troubling pattern, one that they believe has been ignored or minimized for too long by the music industry and media. Many activists used the moment to push for greater protection for abuse victims and more stringent consequences for public figures accused of violence. Organizations working on domestic violence awareness issued statements urging the public not to excuse repeated harmful behavior simply because someone is talented or famous. The music industry's response has been equally complex. While some artists and collaborators have remained publicly silent, possibly waiting for more facts to emerge, others have taken a firm stance. A few prominent musicians, particularly women and survivors of abuse, have voiced their support for justice and accountability. They have emphasized the importance of creating a safe environment within the entertainment world, free from intimidation and violence. Record labels, promoters, and sponsors face difficult decisions. Given Brown's history and the serious nature of these allegations, several companies have reportedly placed partnerships on hold pending the trial's outcome. Concert venues and event organizers are carefully evaluating contracts as the potential legal fallout could impact tour dates and ticket sales. This cautious approach signals a broader shift in the industry's tolerance for misconduct, influenced by growing public pressure and heightened awareness of abuse issues. Media coverage of the case has been intense, with news outlets around the world providing ongoing updates and expert analysis. Some coverage has focused on Brown's past, examining how his legal troubles have repeatedly overshadowed his musical success. Others have delved into the specifics of the current charges, exploring the legal definitions and potential consequences of grievous bodily harm with intent, which is a serious criminal offense in the UK. Experts in criminal justice and celebrity culture have also weighed in, highlighting how high-profile cases like this often become battlegrounds for larger social conversations. They note that while the court process aims to deliver justice, public opinion can sometimes act as a parallel form of accountability, shaping reputations and career trajectories long before verdicts are reached. Beyond the courtroom, the conversation has extended into the realm of ethics in celebrity worship and fandom. The case challenges audiences to reconsider how much power and influence society grants to stars, and what responsibilities come with that privilege. It raises questions about whether the entertainment world enables bad behavior by continuing to support controversial figures, and how fans navigate the complicated feelings of admiration and disappointment. As this legal saga unfolds, it also forces a reckoning within the music community. Brown's situation serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked behavior, the limits of forgiveness, and the ongoing need for cultural change. Industry insiders suggest that this case might set a precedent for how similar allegations are handled moving forward, potentially encouraging more transparency, stricter codes of conduct, and stronger support systems for victims. Looking ahead, the next phase of this story will be crucial. How Chris Brown and his legal team respond, how the courts adjudicate the matter, and how fans and the public react will collectively shape the legacy of one of R&B's most talented yet controversial figures. It remains to be seen whether Brown can salvage his career and reputation, or if this marks a permanent turning point. In the upcoming section, we will explore the potential legal outcomes and their implications, delving into the charges, possible defenses, and what this means for Brown's future, both legally and professionally. As Chris Brown faces the serious charge of grievous bodily harm with intent, legal experts are closely watching the case to assess its potential outcomes and implications. This charge, one of the more severe offenses under UK law, suggests that the prosecution believes there was not only an intention to cause harm, but that the injury inflicted was particularly serious. Understanding the gravity of these allegations is key to grasping the stakes involved, both for Brown's legal fate and his personal and professional future. Grievous bodily harm, GBH with intent, is classified as a Section 18 offense under the Offenses Against the Person Act, 1861, and it carries the possibility of a lengthy prison sentence. If Brown is convicted, the prosecution will need to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Brown intended to cause serious injury to the victim, Abe Diao, at the Tape nightclub in London last year. This involves presenting compelling evidence of the assault, including witness testimonies, medical reports, and any physical or forensic evidence, such as the alleged use of a bottle during the altercation. Brown's defense team will likely focus on challenging the intent aspect, possibly arguing that any injury caused was accidental or inflicted in self-defense. They may also question the credibility of witnesses or the accuracy of reported events. Given Brown's celebrity status and public profile, the defense might argue that the media and public have prejudged the case, potentially influencing the jury unfairly. Another factor to consider is Brown's extensive legal history, which includes prior convictions related to violence. While this history can be damaging, UK courts typically separate past conduct from the current charge to ensure a fair trial. However, prosecutors may reference this history during sentencing if Brown is found guilty, potentially leading to harsher penalties. The upcoming trial will be closely monitored not only for the verdict, but also for how the court navigates the complexities of celebrity influence on legal proceedings. The defense's efforts to portray Brown as a victim of public scrutiny will be tested against the prosecution's case, emphasizing accountability and justice for the alleged assault victim. Beyond the courtroom, the consequences of the trial extend into Brown's career. A conviction could lead to imprisonment, cancellation of his upcoming world tour, loss of sponsorships, and a severe blow to his public image. Even an acquittal may not fully repair the damage done to his reputation, given the intense media coverage and divided public opinion. Legal analysts note that this case could become a precedent for how serious allegations against high-profile artists are handled in the UK and beyond. The combination of criminal charges, media scrutiny, and public reaction creates a challenging environment for all parties involved. Brown's legal team may also explore plea bargains or alternative resolutions, especially if evidence against him is strong. However, given the high stakes and public interest, such negotiations might be difficult and subject to intense public scrutiny. The trial is scheduled to begin shortly, and the court process is expected to be lengthy, involving multiple hearings, witness examinations, and possibly expert testimony on the psychological and physical impact of assault. Ultimately, the outcome will hinge on the evidence presented and the jury's assessment of Brown's intent and actions on that night in February 2023. For fans and critics alike, this case represents more than just legal proceedings. It is a test of justice, accountability, and the enduring question of how society treats celebrity misconduct. In the next part, we will dive into Brown's personal and professional background in more detail, exploring how his early life, rise to fame, and previous legal troubles have shaped public perception and influenced the trajectory of his career. Chris Brown's upcoming trial marks a critical moment in his tumultuous career, a test not only of his legal fate, but of accountability in the entertainment world. With serious charges and a complicated past, the case will likely shape public and industry perceptions for years to come. As the legal process unfolds, fans and critics alike await justice, hoping the truth emerges clearly. Whatever the verdict, this case serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of violence, the power of the law, and the ongoing struggle to balance celebrity with responsibility.